From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, we do have significantly cooler temperatures working their way in here today, especially tomorrow, and going into your Thursday before temperatures start to warm back up. Now, there's going to be some April Fool's showers. Of course, we're seeing it today. We're going to see it again here to start off April as well. I do expect drier and warmer conditions, though, for your Friday. And we're going to see a significant warm up again going into the weekend, back in the 80s for the Valley. So your neighborhood forecast at a glance, scattered showers, could even see some thunderstorms. And I'd say for the Valley, eastward, so central Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains, all seeing that potential for thunderstorms. That doesn't mean everyone's going to see them. It just means that the potential is out there. Now, looking at the latest radar from through the morning hours into around midday, you can see the bulk of the rain, just some scattered showers out there. Looks like Trinity County got to see some decent rain and a few showers out towards Glenn and Butte counties. Not as much, though, for Tehama and Shasta County, at least in the mid-morning hours or so. But there's more activity coming in behind that, and that'll bring in more showers here through the rest of the afternoon. As I mentioned, maybe a chance for a few thunderstorms. So we still have that classic Pineapple Express kind of aimed right at California in general. In fact, it's aimed a little bit more to our south and actually directly at us. And it's not a big tap of moisture. That is, we're not seeing a tremendous amount of moisture moving in, which is why we're really not seeing a tremendous amount of rain over California. So again, it's a cool and wet start to the week. We do expect the next heavier round, and I think the main band, or should I say the main event, will be Wednesday for your April 1st. And that's when we expect some of the heaviest rainfall, especially in the mountains and for the coast. We just don't expect to see as much rainfall for the valley. And snow levels will drop, especially by Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. But I think the bulk of any activity we see Thursday will be for the first half of the day, and then the chances diminish. High pressure builds in by the end of the week, through the weekend, back in those 80s I was talking about in the valley here for Saturday, Sunday. And there's a bit of a disturbance that we could see here by around Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. The timing of that, the intensity of that is something we're still monitoring here. And then high pressure building back in by the end of next week. So roller coaster ride with the temperatures and often on chances for those showers as well. Now, this is something I mentioned earlier this morning, and I'm seeing the Storm Prediction Center kind of come more in alignment with what I was expecting and saying this morning. And that is, the bulk of any thunderstorms will be in, if we see them develop, will be in the Valley, central Siskiyou County, and eastward. Anything west of that, I don't anticipate any thunderstorms. This morning, the Storm Prediction Center had all of that green east of the Valley, right? And now it's shading in more of the Valley with that potential for some of those thunderstorms today. And tomorrow, this is another thing I mentioned. It was all aimed to the north. Del Norte, Siskiyou, and even Modoc County. As I mentioned in my morning forecast, for tomorrow, I think all of Northern California has a potential for some thunderstorms. And we're beginning to at least see the Storm Prediction Center get a little bit more in alignment with that. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast and see what we can expect here for the rest of the day. Through the afternoon, I think we're going to see better chances for thunderstorms popping up later on this afternoon. Now, I think Futurecast might be overdoing it on the overall intensity, but it is something I'll be monitoring very closely. By 6 o'clock this evening, now the bulk of the activity is east of the valley. Still some scattered showers and thunderstorms even into the overnight hours, but not as widespread. Now, as that moves out, look it up to the north and west midnight tonight. You're beginning to see the beginning phases of the heavier round of rain coming in here for tomorrow. So by tonight, by tomorrow morning, we're seeing heavier rainfall along the coast. You're also seeing some more of this orographic lifting, if you will, east of the valley, and we're actually seeing a bit of shadowing. And this is typical. When we see these systems coming in from the west, working their way eastward, the mountains west of the valley squeeze out that moisture. The air then sinks, working its way into the valley, and we see less rainfall as a result, but then it goes back up the mountains east of the valley, and it squeezes out more of that moisture. So we are going to see some rain, potential for thunderstorms even in the valley, but again, most of it will be in the mountains and along the coast. There you can see 3 p.m. on Wednesday, taking it about 6 p.m. We actually may see a convergence line, especially for tomorrow with those gusty winds kicking in here. And by the way, we're going to be looking at gusts possibly on Wednesday as high as 30, even 40 miles per hour. And with winds that strong, sometimes we've got to watch for that potential for that convergence line around the Redding area, working its way northeastward. The placement, the overall where we're seeing that convergence line, that may change. And how long it sticks around may also change, but we'll have to certainly monitor that as we go into Wednesday afternoon. We then transition more to snow in the mountains because snow levels on Wednesday will probably be somewhere around 4,000 feet, give or take, before they do start to drop. Now, this is not one of those major storm type of snowstorm situations, but if you do have to travel in the mountains, just be aware of the fact that around 3,500 feet and higher, you may be dealing with some snow. And chain requirements is something we can't entirely rule out. And I think really the biggest impact, which won't be all that big, will be Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But as you can see, as we go to around the mid-afternoon hours on Thursday, we're just seeing a few scattered snow flurries, a few scattered showers, but mainly dry for the valley, and mainly dry also for the eastern mountains. And then by Thursday night into Friday, we're drying things out entirely. In fact, we're seeing more sunshine and temperatures will start to increase once again. Overall rainfall estimates has a hard time, but I'd say about 1/4 of an inch at most, I think in most cases for the valley. There could be a few spots, especially if you get caught under a thunderstorm, that could see more than that. But on average, about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that in some areas in the valley. Now for the mountains, I do expect to see 1/2 an inch to possibly even over an inch. Take a look at the forecast snow totals, and yeah, I think some of those lower mountain communities could see some snow. I might be overdoing it there a bit for Mount Shasta City, but you get the idea. Any snow we do see in the lower mountain communities won't be all that significant. All right, so here's what we have in store for us for the rest of the day today. Upper 60s for the valley, mid 50s for most of you in the higher elevations. Best chance for thunderstorms, valley, central Siskiyou County, eastward. Otherwise, west of that should be thunderstorm free, but showers nonetheless. That'll continue as we go into the overnight hours. And then as we take a look at your 7-day forecast, we do have those temperatures still dropping. Wednesday will be the coolest. Thursday, even though we're starting to dry things out, it will warm back up in the mid-60s, even warmer by Friday, and even warmer by the weekend. So we do have that warming trend for the end of the week. Chance for thunderstorms really across the board here for your Wednesday. Thursday, still a chance for showers for the coast, inland, and for Trinity County, but don't count on much. And that's the same story for Siskiyou, Modoc County, the eastern mountains. And by the time we get into Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, it does dry out. It dries out especially for Friday, and temperatures continue to climb as we go into the weekend and even into early next week. All right, that's your afternoon update. I'll be back again this evening for the latest Check Your Weather. Have yourselves a great rest of your day.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe. Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.